Well, what brought you to the church?
We had been attending a Presbyterian church in Pennsylvania, and we visited many of the churches here in Milford, and we found this church to be particularly welcoming and warm. And there were a lot of families with children, our children's ages, and we just felt very comfortable here.
Sue and I came from different backgrounds, I was a Baptist, she was a Catholic, so we wanted to expose our children to a religious faith, to God. We wanted them to have the opportunity to have a choice. And we were looking for a family-oriented church where they really were striving for the kids. They had a strong belief in the kids. There was a strong belief in faith in the church.
My biggest memory of the church, most of my warmest, most wonderful memories are of the people here, and some wonderful times that we have shared, whether it was working on committees together or working on the dedication of our education wing and seeing so many people come together with joy and fresh ideas and determination, not only all the issues that we had to go through to get this building built, but also to dedicate it in great joy and service to God. Working with the 7th and 8th graders has been wonderful, and it would be hard to pick one piece from that, but it was just a real joy. Working with the kids in Sunday school and the youth group and being a confirmation mentor several times, those are very special memories for me.
Where have you seen or where have you personally experienced ministering being effective in people's lives here?
My life has been filled with a couple of really difficult, rocky times. We all hit them, and I seem to have had them in the last 15 years. My husband was killed in a car accident, and the other time in need is that I am a 10-year breast cancer survivor, and this church responded immediately. So the church was there in person, in deed, in prayer, in thought, and that is something that made me realize that I began to see a sense of what God's Spirit moving among us is. So that is special. Out of that very sad and difficult time comes something that I wouldn't have experienced otherwise.
Ministry in this church, it comes from the heart.
What is stewardship to me?
Stewardship. It's financial, spiritual development, education, crisis intervention, community, missions, outreach.
Back in the day when you could designate where your pledge money went, you could say, I want this much to go to the budget and this much to go to missions. And I can remember seeing all those pledges come in every week and all the people who pledged to missions and thinking, why, we need this money to pay the church's bills, to keep the church going. Why are we bothering with missions? I didn't understand what missions was at the time. And since then, I have gone through what I went through with the search committee. And when I came off of that, I wanted to be on a committee where there was no conflict, no controversy, where all you did was good things to help other people. And I said, you know what? I want to be on missions. So I went on missions, and I've since done a complete 180 because it feels good to help people. I mean, what better way is there to make yourself visible to the community than by reaching out to people who are in the community? That's why the crop walk is so important to us.
Stewardship is more than just the pledge of money. It is the pledge of a covenant to a community, ultimately creating an environment which is friendly, inviting to the community, creating a sense of worth that is both spiritually and physically uplifting.
In a nutshell, I would say stewardship is serving God and God's people. And the money is the practical side of that, because we do need to heat our building, to have a minister, to have an organist. We know we've learned a lot in this church in the last 20 years about that kind of struggle. And so we need to work to do that. So stewardship is that, but being a steward is to care for and about somebody. So stewardship is really more not just writing a check, it's actually being there as a human being and being stewards of God here on earth and reaching out to one another.
If you were to have one wish or vision for this church, one thing that you'd like to leave with it, what would that be?
If I were to have one wish for the church, trying to put that into one answer isn't easy, but what I would wish for is that we would grow in caring and loving for one another, in reaching out to our community around us, not just Milford, but a broader sense of community, and be a vital force in our community for good, for spreading God's word, the joy of Christianity, the service of Christianity, to bear witness to that in our communities and in our homes, and especially here in all the activities that we have in our church, to be a loving congregation.
I think my wish is that everyone could see each other in the way that my wife and I see you guys. Because you're a marvelous gift as a congregation. And I think when you start seeing each other in that light, you get a whole new appreciation. To understand that and to see that you are who you are because of everyone. Your faith isn't just your own, it's all these people. And as one person's life goes through the downside, you never get lost because everyone else is there.